How are you ding-dong diddly doing there, gamerinos? Hope you're having a philanderific day. So we got some more bonus jobs to do here. We never finished the fountain? That's crazy. I thought we had finished it. I thought we were moving on to the next one, but guess not. I've been watching this. Sorry. I've been watching this, what do you call it? Star Wars fan film. Which is my new canon, by the way. Because it's so good, like... just irritates... What in the fuck is going on? It just irritates me so much because it's done so well. Like, the story is written so well. That it's just like, you could have made this. Like, you could have done this for realsies. We could have had a real trilogy instead of, like, what we got. But, it's called Heir to the Empire. It's really, really good. It follows Luke, Han, Leia, and Mara Jade as well as a new, smuggler. I forget his name, though. 'Cause, like, the last few episodes I've watched have been Han, Leia, and Luke and Mara Jade heavy. So it hasn't... this guy hasn't been on screen for a while, so I forgot his name. The first part is like an hour and 40-minute long movie, and it's animated. And it's not perfect animation. Like, it looks a little jank at some bits. And like some of the voice acting isn't amazing, and yeah. So it's not perfect. But my god, if it doesn't have heart, if it doesn't fucking try, which is goddamn more than we can say of Disney. Disney didn't fucking try. The people out here making Heir to the Empire, like, they fucking tried. So big fucking respect to them. Yeah, I would highly recommend you check it out. After part 1, it kind of goes into more like a TV show, like episodic bits. It's weird because it starts at part 1 and then it like goes to like part 22 or something. So I'm assuming that it used to be what do you call it? It used to be a bunch of small episodes, but they probably like condensed it into one big bit, and now they're waiting for like another hour of like episodes to smash into the second movie. That's what I would assume. But yeah, it's so good. I don't want to... I almost don't want to talk about it. Like, I kind of just... fuck it, I'm going to talk about it. No one's going to watch this YouTube video, so I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. Yeah, nobody watches my fucking content, so it doesn't matter. But, like, Grand Admiral Thrawn is still around, right? And he's still fighting for the Empire, of course, and he's like in command of the holdout of the Empire. So right there, it's already done better than Disney, because it fucking told you who the bad guys were and why they're around, and like how much you can imagine how much systems they control, or how many systems they control. They openly talk about all the conflicts where they're like at in their part of space, that you may not even have seen on camera too. Like, they talk about it all, which is super nice because it helps flesh out the fucking world. So yeah, Thrawn is like going with the holdouts of the Empire, right? and Luke, Leia, and Chewie are all part of the New Republic, and it's set up on Coruscant, and we see that there's like a little bit of bickering between like some people in the New Republic, and like, you know, they're off to a bit of a rocky start, but you know, they're trying to keep everything secure. And meanwhile, these people are going after Leia, right? She's been training as a Jedi, but she doesn't have her own lightsaber, and she hasn't really trained with a lightsaber at the beginning of the show. And then like they end up getting attacked by these dudes on a diplomatic mission, like it was a trap. It's a trap! But they end up escaping, of course. Yeah, and like Han is trying to find some smugglers to like help move supplies around in the New Republic. And yeah, it's really fascinating. And meanwhile, Thrawn is being all like menacing and shit. He's getting these like space lizards that like create bubbles in the Force, which I kind of like it, but I kind of don't like it, because like the Force flows through all living things, so it seems a little weird that these space lizards would like block the Force, which is exactly what they do. I don't know how I feel about that. But that would be like one of the only complaints that I would really have, or like major complaints that I can think of, is I don't know how I feel about there being space lizards that can reject the Force. Anyway, he gets these guys, and he's like, you know, trying to get another. So his plan is like he wants a dark Jedi to like help control his forces the way Palpatine used to, right? But the guy that he's got is a little sketchy, so he doesn't want to use him too often. Because he finds like this guy that the Emperor had protecting some secret stash. And Thrawn promised him that if he works for Thrawn, he can have Leia and Luke to like train as Jedi. So that I guess I'm just gonna leave it there. I'll let you all watch, you know, for yourselves. But I think it's so good. Like I said, the animation is not perfect. The voice acting is not perfect. But the story is good. Like, you can tell that the people who fucking made it actually like Star Wars and have actually seen a Star Wars film. It's crazy. Oh, and I forgot to mention Lando's in it too, which is cool. And Chewie, if I didn't say Chewie, but I would hope that you would assume that Chewie would be in it. As Chewie, I think, is the only character that has appeared in all 3 trilogies. And that's something. Because Obi-Wan definitely didn't appear in the 3rd one. Unless it happened sometime. Or wait, no. That's not true. Yoda. Yoda was in all 3 of them. I forgot. He shows up as a Force ghost in the shittiest Star Wars movie to ever exist. The one that isn't fit to fucking wipe the ass of Heir to the Empire. The Last Jedi. Yeah. It's like, you know what? I like Heir to the Empire because it doesn't make Luke a fucking loser. Like, I don't understand, like, why you would do that. I understand you hate the franchise, and you don't like people who like Star Wars. I get that, Lucasfilms. I get that, Kathleen. But you want to make money, too, so I don't know why your hatred for all of us outweighs your need to make money. It's just crazy shit. I know I say this every few months, but I'm working on a new story. Hopefully I mean, I did technically finish one of them, but I just didn't think it was very good. So I kind of binned it. But I do this next one I think is gonna be pretty good. You know what? Maybe I'll talk a little bit about it. So this one is kind of like it's very heavily based off a book that I read. But it was a real life book. Like some guys, I guess it would be a biography technically. Not like a full biography, but just like a little bit like more like a journal, I guess. It was his journal. And he went on this trip in the Sahara. And he was seeking out this forbidden city where like all this crazy like horrible slavery was happening and shit like that. And it's like he's in a completely different world in the Sahara, and that really intrigued me. Just like all the ways that he would like describe the desert and like shit that would happen there. So I kind of took that. I was like, I mean, I feel like this could be a cool sci-fi story. And of course I put it in space. Just because, honestly, I think it's that I really, really, really want good Star Wars. And I just can't get it. And except for, like, Heir to the Empire, which is phenomenal. So I guess I kind of have to write my own. But it's not Star Wars, though. At all. But there are wars that happen in space. It's about this country, or this planet, right? And they're at war with another planet. And to help increase, like, how much, I guess to get more money to help, like, fund the war effort, they're gonna explore, or I guess not explore, but check out this planet that, like, it's not a planet that's never been, like, visited before, but people don't visit it very often just because, like, it's so far away. And, like, see, I'm trying to put limits on technology to have things make sense here. So, like, I guess the technology just isn't there yet, you know? They're still working on developing their hyperdrives or whatever they have. That would be the equivalent of hyperdrives in my universe. I don't know what that would be called exactly. But their version of interdimensional travel. But they've recently acquired this technology. It's recently been made. And this planet decides, well, we're going to go over to this other planet that, like I said, you couldn't get to because it was just too far away. Or you couldn't easily get to because it was just too far away. And it's rumored from this ancient civilization that has gone through and has mapped a large portion of the galaxy. Who they would spend like maybe decades at a time, like on their spacecraft making it to all these different planets that are so far away. Because like I said, it's not impossible for them to reach these planets, but it takes just a super long time. But yeah, this ancient civilization has said that there's a lot of gold on this planet. So, like I said, to help fund the war effort, they decide they want to go over there and set up a treaty with these people and, you know, like maybe help improve their way of life. So, this very higher up, I haven't decided if he's going to be a senator or if he's going to be like someone fancier, but right now I'm leaning towards senator. His son, he sends his son on this mission because he's a general and he's going to be a diplomat in this case, I guess, to go talk with these people. But on the way over, his spaceship gets shot down by their rival planet, I guess. And now he's stranded on the middle of this planet that they don't know a whole lot about, right? So, the entire crew dies. I'm probably gonna have it say something like, the hull of the ship was hit, and then like all the escape pods but one were hit. So the main character is told, since he's the most important and has to see the mission through, that he gets to live, you know, and carry on the mission. So anyway, he crash lands onto the planet, which is this desert planet. This is like where the whole Sahara thing comes in. And he is rescued by these, I mean, I do have a name, but I call them Ashwaba, I guess. And they are these group of people, and they don't really have like a city or anything. Think of them kind of like Tusken Raiders, except for they move things across the desert. Like, logistically, some places would need to trade, like, some cities would need to trade with other cities. These are the people that you would go to, like, cover the vast desert that's in between these, like, I think there's 3 or 4 major, like, cities on this planet. Because I'm kind of going for a Star Wars feel in that regard. Whereas a planet is more like a country rather than like a planet like Earth, you know. But yeah, these people rescue him, and at first he's like, I don't know if I trust these people. I don't know if I should go with you. You know, I'm on a mission or whatever. And they're like, well, you're gonna die out here. If you do not come with us, you are absolutely going to fucking die. So he's like, okay, good point. And goes with them, and they're like walking around in the desert, and they, you know, this is where I'd pull more stuff from the book that I read. Like, how he would talk about how it was like a sea of sand, or like, if you ever have to pee, you never pee into the wind, or it's gonna get all over you. Or like how cold it gets at night, how brutal it is during the day, and how you can just be going and going and going, and it looks like you've gone nowhere, just because, you know, there's just nothing there. And then other times you might go through like a shale outcropping or something, or, you know, there might be an oasis along the way. You know, or like dead animals. They may have to like kill and eat one of their like, I guess they wouldn't be camels, but space camels. They may have to kill and eat a space camel. I don't know. But yeah, shit like that happens along the way. And they go over to this town. And it's like, it's pretty much enslaved. like the entire city is enslaved. The 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 people are the trying to think, because it's weird. You don't say these things out loud. You just kind of you write them down. I think Tahairs, something like that. And they're like these farmers, and they used to be and this would all be like exposition that you would get along the journey, as the head of the pack, of the Ashwaba. His name is Omran, and like he would be going around and like telling him all of these, like all the news of the world, and how things work on the planet. And yeah, some themes that are going to be explored would be like a clash of cultures, and the effects of technology on, like, on people who didn't previously have access to it, and like the effects of modernization, and yeah, which I think is a lot of interesting things to look at. But yeah, these Tahairs are enslaved by this group called the Tashla, and they're just this kind of aggro group, I guess. They're very, very, like, war-minded people who used to, like, go through and, would attack the other cities, and obviously they enslaved the one. This part I even wrote today while I was at work, but I thought it would be kind of interesting if maybe not long before the main character shows up, who I think I'm gonna name Llewellyn, because the guy in the book was an Englishman going into the Sahara, so obviously everything would be very alien for him. So I'm thinking that he would be like, again, Llewellyn is more of a Welsh name, but I thought that would be kind of fun to do that. And yeah, and everything of course sounds kind of foreign, I guess. Like Tashla and Tahairs and Omran, and yeah. But yeah, Omran is this, like, very wise, very smart. He's stern, but he's kind. If that makes sense. Like he's got a tough exterior, but he's a big softy at heart, kind of deal going on. And oh, yeah, sorry, I keep getting so scatterbrained with this, because as I'm trying to tell you the thing that I'm talking about, it occurs to me that you might need some more context on other things in the story for this to make sense. And it's kind of rambly, because I'm doing this differently than other stories where I've just gone in and have tried writing it down, like, from start to finish. This one I'm going through, and I'm kind of trying to build the world. Hopefully you can kind of tell that I'm trying to build a world here. And then, and like, kind of having a rough idea of the story, but, like, not writing down anything, like, chaptered, like, real physical story-wise, until, like, the world is fleshed out, and the characters and the motivations and everything are all there, But yeah, like I was saying, I was thinking it would be kind of cool if the Tashla had like a treaty going, you know, something that had been going for like a decade or something of peace, where they were going to like slowly start to move their way out of the Taher's land and give them control back, you know, like part of the deal was like they would get paid a certain amount maybe, or and some other things. I haven't quite, like I said, I just thought of that today. So I'm obviously going to have to perfect that, but I'm thinking that they would have some kind of deal or something, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just start attacking people. Okay? And it's like, oh, wait, what the fuck? What's going on? Why are they, you know, increasing their presence in the Taher land? Why are they, like, starting to be more oppressive and starting to tax the people, which they had stopped, like, taxing as hard and oppressing them as hard. Like, they were trying to give them their own kind of sovereignty, but, and that just kind of, you know, like, went out the window all of a sudden. But, of course, through Llewellyn's perspective, you would know that the rival planet to Llewellyn's, which I think I'm gonna call Verl, the Verl is the people, and the Verl have showed up, and they've like maybe killed the king's the Tashla's king's son, and that's like, you know, driven him a little crazy. And then the Verl show up, and they're like, oh yeah, it was you know, it was these people, this I haven't even mentioned this group, the Tunduni. It was like, oh, it was these people who did it. So they start, you know, going crazy and attacking everybody. But of course, nobody knows that entirely, and I don't think you'd get that revelation until much later in the book. I know it's kind of a big spoiler, but like I said, no one's gonna watch this, and I don't even know if I'll ever finish the book, because I never do, ever. But anyway, after being led into the Taher's land, he would speak with their governor, because of course they wouldn't have like a king or a true leader, because they're controlled. But they would still have that kind of like governor figure from the time previous, when they were like starting to get their land back, before like the Tashla started going crazy, you know. And yeah, so basically he tells Llewellyn, well, you're shit out of luck here. There's not a whole lot that we can do for you, but maybe the Tunduni can help you, but you would like need to catch a ride. And Llewellyn thinks that he's gonna have to leave Amran and all of his friends behind, because they bonded, by the way. They've bonded, over... I know, I'm Disney storytelling here. Where I'm just telling you something has happened, and you have to accept that without seeing any of the evidence of it. But promise, I promise there will be evidence of them being, like, best friends. And shit. Like, I'm not just gonna cold turkey you. I'm not gonna Madam Web you, where they just kinda like bond, like in between acts, and it's just never really elaborated on. Like, no, they would be like real good friends. So anyway, he's all sad. He's thinking he's gonna leave them, but he finds out that Amran has been is going to be sending some supplies over to the outskirts of Tunduni, which I don't even know if that's the name of the city. I may change that, because Tunduni is just the people. But I haven't thought of a name of the cities yet. But not really here or there. Anyway, you know, they continue to travel, and, you know, some more things from the book happen, including, and this happened in the biography, the real book. Hey G, how's it going? Welcome on in. But... Oh, I just lost my train of thought, shit. You got me fucked up, G. Oh, yeah. So... They're gonna be going to the outskirts of this city. I mean, I was on one recently. It wasn't the one today. I don't know. You stream so infrequently. Well, anyway. Okay. Yeah, but I forgot, I forgot where I was in the story. We'll just leave it as a little, like, cliffhanger, spoilers, or whatever, for if I ever actually finish it. I think it should be interesting. There was, like, a whole different-ass one in between the last one I did and this one that I was kind of working on, which I haven't totally abandoned, but I've all but abandoned. It's gonna be like some kind of post-apocalyptic, like, epic kind of Lord of the Rings thing. But I don't know. Like, I feel like the characters that I did in there were decent, because I kind of more so focused on, like, the characters with that one. But yeah, I doubt I'll continue that one, considering I barely work on the one as it is. Like, all of that, like, I've got more. I know there's more, I just don't remember where I left off and what details I was telling you about it, so... But, I mean, it's not, like, horribly farther. But it's just, it's so disappointing when you go out to, like, watch a movie or something, and it's just, it's either the same shit over and over and over again, or it's the same shit over and over and over again, but it was never very good the first time. You know? Like that whole... the new Star Wars... like the first one, which was the best one, and it still wasn't good, was just kind of an unoriginal ripoff of the fourth Star Wars movie. It's... I don't know. And they didn't even do it justice. And then everything else from there was just shit. And the Rings of Power is shit. And I guarantee you the new Lord of the Rings movie is gonna be shit. So, I don't know. It's like you kind of gotta try entertaining yourself with your own stories, or find someone else who can actually write something halfway decent. But yeah, you know, something else I really liked about that Heir to the Empire was it really made Thrawn feel menacing and smart. Like, just everything he says, you're like, okay, he's saying this, but what's the goal? You know, how is this? What's the payoff here? Because everything he says, it's like, at first it's like, all right, we're checking out these lizards. These lizards are pretty cool. We're gonna go on this planet and get a bunch of these lizards. And then it's like, oh shit, they block the Force. Okay. And he's like, okay, well, you know, oh, this is a good one. So Luke Skywalker has been captured, right? Not by the Empire, but by these smugglers. And they're not even, like, quite sure what to do with him yet. Like, they don't know if they want to turn him over to the Empire, let him go, whatever. But, like, Luke manages to escape because he's Luke. And, you know, they're sending out someone to go, like, they're sending out Mara Jade to go get him. And, you know, Thrawn sees all this, like, space, or these ships, like, doing crazy shit in the air as he's landing down on the planet to speak to this smuggler about something totally unrelated. And he's like, okay, what do you think that was about? And his second in command is like, I don't know, he's a smuggler, it could be fucking anything. And the guy's like, it could be. Thrawn's like, you know, it could be anything. But I think it's kind of interesting that there's no radio there's radio silence. You know, no one has reported this ship crashing, these two ships crashing. You know, there's nothing on the comms. It's like they don't want us to know specifically. And he's like, and I find it a little odd that on top of that, when we asked people to help us look for Luke Skywalker, they immediately told us no, that they weren't going to help us. And then, when Thrawn had talked to the head smuggler, he acted like the search for Luke was over when he was talking to him. So he's like, I bet that's Luke. And it's like, holy shit, he just brained that fucking thing out. Holy shit. Like, it's impressive. It's impressive. Like, I don't even feel like he was that menacing in Rebels. Like, he was kind of menacing, and he was kind of smart, you know. But it was more like, I feel like it was more people just talking, you know, saying, oh, he's smart, you know. But I think it's cooler, you know, when you piece that together for yourself, that this character is smart, rather than having a bunch of people being on screen be like, oh, he's a genius. Like, that, it's just way cooler to see him figuring out this shit as it's happening. And it's like, uh-oh. Oh, no. Thrawn knows. He knows. Alright, I think I'm gonna finish up this, this gnome here. Alright, thank you so much for watching, G. Thank you to anyone else who may have tuned in and didn't chat with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you to the YouTube crowd who's going to like and subscribe. God damn it. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.